All right, welcome back as we continue Unit 2, Population and Migration Patterns and Processes. Uh, Today we're going to look a little bit closer at population pyramids. So this topic 2.3 we call population composition. So how is a population of a country in the world composed? And what we'll look at specifically today is the population pyramid and how it displays data um, describing both the sex ratio and the age cohorts that exist within not only regions. We could look at the world, we could look at different scales of analysis, the world, different regions, and then different countries. So just to kind of give the big picture here, this is really about understanding where and how people live. And what we want you to think and want you to kind of work with this bigger question is how people live and how essential that is to understanding global cultural, political, and economic patterns. Now, we'll look at the patterns of age structure and sex ratio across different regions, and we'll look at how that can be analyzed at different scales. We'll also want to specifically look at these population pyramids, and this is a skill that I think as aspiring human geographers, we want to kind of have in our skill set to be able to read a population pyramid and get a better understanding of what's happening in that country. And lastly, before we dive in, this idea of learning about how people live around the world is very much connected to our the George Expedition project that we'll be doing in this unit, which is looking at if the world were 100 people and creating some profiles of each of those 100 people based on statistics, but then also adding a narrative that you're going to create as students of each of those 100 people. All right, so let's dive in. Let's give a look at our population pyramids. I want to start us here. We're going to go to the world. And let's start at the world in 1975. We're more or less 4 billion, the population. And we can see the world at this scale. We're looking at the whole world's population, and we can see that in 1975, that we have males and females. So males on the left in the blue shade, and females on the right in the darker pink shade there. And then we're given percentages along the sort of axis here, and we see 6.8% of males between the age of 0 and really this says 4, but it means up the day before the 5th birthday, essentially. So we're looking at the first 5 years here. And then the next age cohort, as we call these, would be from the 5th birthday to the day before the 10th birthday, essentially. So we're looking at 5-year cohorts. And 6.8% of the world population, or as our data set shows here, 278 million of the world population are boys under the age of 5. And we could say the same for girls. We could also just take it up to a different age group here between 70 and the day before the 75th birthday. We have, so not surprisingly, maybe, but we'll find out more about this in our next sections of this unit, why women live longer. We have 37 million women between that age, the 70 to 75 age, but only 27 million men. And this, remember, this is the year 1975. This might change. We might see that change if we were to jump to, and I'm going to jump us to 2025, which is 5 years down the road. And the reason for that is that's the first time we get over 8 billion. It'll probably be the year before that, but our data set here is by 5 years. So the population in the world will have doubled in 50 years. That's the doubling time, another vocabulary term for you. The doubling time of the world population is 50 years and will take us to over 8 billion by the year 2025. So that's something that we're looking at in the next few years before Some of you might graduate high school even. That might happen. Okay, so this is basically a tool for us to interpret the world population, look at needs. Certainly, the group under the age worldwide, certainly under the age of 15, but maybe here in the United States, we might say under the age of 18 or 20, are much more dependent on the age group that's here between the age of, say, 20 to 60, 65. That's the working age group. So this young age group is dependent on them. And then this older age group is also dependent on them. And that's the dependency ratio, another vocabulary term. All right. So let's look at some regions to get a sense of what's happening. And we have just Europe as a whole. Let's look at Europe. Europe, interesting population pyramid. It's starting to get more narrower or come tighter at the end here, at the bottom cohorts, the bottom age cohorts. And so what this is telling us is we have a declining population. Or an aging population, certainly an aging population, which may also be a declining population, depending on your level of migration in and out of the country. Let's also look at something, let's look at Africa. Africa, we're going to see a different story here. Africa is much like a pyramid, and what we're seeing is a huge dependency, right? We have a lot of people, a large section of the population is under the age of 20. So that puts a huge strain on national resources, family resources, all scales of the sort of socioeconomic, all of those different scales, from the household all the way to the national economy. Okay. We'll lastly look at another region here. Let's look at Latin America and the Caribbean, a little bit different. So Latin America's population pyramid, as we can see here, sort of is narrowing, reducing their birth rate, and other things happening there in Latin America that would create a population pyramid like this. The specifics to the analysis is what we're going to do in our next two topics, topic 2.4 and 2.5, when we talk about the demographic transition model. So stay tuned, do your reading on the demographic transition model, and then we're really going to talk about what's happening in countries where the population pyramid goes from what we saw in Africa to something like this in Latin America. They're in two different stages of the demographic transition. So looking forward to that. Stay tuned. Talk to you soon.